Hey guys, this is Mike the Biz, and this is the Scorpion Deathlock podcast, or just the Deathlock podcast now, in short. And I wanted to get on today, right, because there has been a lot of stuff going on social media concerning The Undertaker and him endorsing Donald Trump. And not just The Undertaker, right, but we can also uh, mention Kane, aka Glenn Jacobs, as well. Obviously, Glenn Jacobs has been very verbal about his endorsement of Donald Trump over the last couple of years, right? Him being in a political position himself, right? Being the mayor of Knoxville County, Tennessee, or wherever he's from. Anyways, sorry, I just had to kind of like throw that little verbiage out there, but hopefully everyone's doing good. Happy Sunday. This probably won't be a long video. But again, title of the video is called Jim Cornette Responds to The Undertaker Endorsing Donald Trump. So let's go ahead and get into it. We'll watch the video and then I will read Jim Cornette's reaction, right? So let me just go ahead and set that up really quick so that y'all can watch here. And, y'all can give your opinion on it. I'm probably going to try to stay as unbiased as I can about it just because I personally don't like getting into politics, and I believe politics should stay out of wrestling in general. But again, these are retired wrestlers that are not active in their environment. Obviously, Taker has a legendary contract, but obviously Kane does also. When he wants to, he appears. But let's go ahead and share this, and then we'll get this going, guys. And again, you let me know what you think. Smash that like button if you guys are watching the replay, and again, comment. Engagement always helps the channel. And again, shout out to Tito. He did ask a question, which I'll probably leave towards the end of this video. I'll go ahead and go to Tito's new Twist and Tap channel towards the end of this, and I'll go ahead and respond to what he's asking in his YouTube shorts there. But we'll go ahead and again address this first, and then we'll go to there. And again, let me go ahead and share this with what's his face amongst gangsters, because I know that guy's a big fan of this channel. So let me go ahead and share that with him really quick and send it directly to his phone. You know what I mean? Make sure this guy gives his input as well. But okay, let's go ahead and share this. Let's go ahead and play the video here. I'm gonna actually hold on. Let me go ahead and lower the music really quick. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and play this. Hopefully it doesn't play out of my speakers here.
All right, everyone, November 5th, Election Mania. Choice is yours. You can go with President Trump, Kane, and The Undertaker, or you can take Kamala Harris, Dave Bautista, and Tim Walz. Choose wisely. The nation depends on it.
And that should be an easy choice.
All right, everyone, November 5th, Election Mania. Choice is yours.
Okay, so, Undertaker really isn't saying anything to kind of diss Dave Bautista in any way, right? But Dave Bautista did make a video where he kind of endorses Kamala Harris, and maybe I'll go back and share that video later on with you guys. I don't know if it's something YouTube is going to copyright or whatever. I don't know what's going on there, but hey, what's up? We got amongst gangsters in the house. Let's go. Mike the Mega. Mike the Mega. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Anyways, I don't really see anything wrong with the specific video, right? Again, he's not, I don't feel like he's slandering Kamala in any way. And I think him getting involved in this may be something that maybe other retired wrestlers might be doing in the future, right? But in any case, I don't think what Taker or Mr. Glenn Jacobs did in any way is wrong as far as voicing who they're endorsing. Obviously that might change a lot of perception on people's stance on who the Undertaker is and the type of person he is, right? What he believes in, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he worked for WWE and was under the Vince regime for 30 plus years, and he did a lot of legendary stuff. Again, it's one of those deals where are you going to not like someone based on their political stance, or are you going to like them based on the type of person they are, etc., like that, right? Obviously what he does in the ring and what he did as a character have nothing to do with who he is as a person outside the ring. So I think that's very interesting. What he's saying here, he's endorsing, and it's the same thing for Batista. It's going to be the same thing for guys like Jim Cornette, who no longer really work in the business, but they have podcasts now and they talk about what's going on in today's wrestling, but sometimes stuff like this gets mixed in. Let's go ahead and show the post that Jim Cornette posted here really quick. So again, it's going to play back the video, but it says, Jim Cornette says, another former great wrestler on the list of alien pod people duped by the world's most repugnant con men. Mark and Glenn, you made it this long with everyone admiring you. Then in the end, you ruined your reputations and tried to destroy the country along with them. I am ashamed of both of you. So I feel like, first of all, those are very strong. Those are very strong comments, right? Because again, both these guys, they gave a lot for the entertainment business and for the wrestling business in general. Yeah, right. So again, I think people losing their minds over this is crazy work. Yeah, and that's what politics is nowadays. I remember watching a lot of old videos from like the 80s and 90s political videos. They pop up every now and then where they're having debates, and the debates are so respectful, and the debates are just about making the country better, and they're not shooting shit at each other, right? Which I think that's something that Donald Trump has kind of turned this into once he started getting into the political space. But anyways, again, I don't think this hurts the Undertaker's or Kane's lineage or legacy as wrestlers in general. I mean, Kane has been endorsing the Republican Party for years, so I don't know if Jim Cornette just has not paid attention to what Kane has been doing the last couple of years, ever since he became the mayor of Knox County. But he's basically, he endorsed Trump his first run. So again, I don't see anything wrong with that. Everyone is entitled to who they want to vote for or believe in, etc. Same with the Undertaker, right? Maybe, it doesn't, maybe, Undertaker was a liberal, right? Maybe he was a liberal and maybe he turned conservative, right? Some people's beliefs change over time, and I don't have anything against that, right? There's, some people are going to be for this, be against this, be for this, be for against that, etc., like that. I mean, it is what it is, right? And I do think it's crazy. I do agree with amongst gangsters that people are losing their minds over this, but at the end of the day, someone's going to vote for that person and you can't do anything about it, right? It's not, that doesn't make them a bad person. That does, again, you can say that to some degree, but it just doesn't make them a bad person, right? This guy, he's done a lot of great things over the years that he did with the company. Same with Kane, right? They're still doing meet and greets. They're still, they're still being interactive with the fans even after retiring. So I got nothing against that, right? And I don't have anything against them endorsing Trump, just like I don't have anything against Batista endorsing Kamala Harris, right? It's just now we're kind of seeing more. We're kind of seeing it being more okay in today's light, opposed to maybe like something, that was like, let's say this happened 20 years ago, who knows how it would have been then. This is, again, these guys are retired wrestlers, and I don't think they're doing anything wrong. Jim Cornette, again, can say what he wants to say, right? He does, and I think he should keep this out of his podcast. I think he should keep anything political off his podcast. There have been times where I watch and listen to his podcast on YouTube, whether it be like The Experience or The Drive-Thru, whatever you want to call it. And, he does tend to slam on people that endorse Donald Trump, right? And again, that's his opinion, right? I think he should kind of stay away from that, though. I think that hurts his image and hurts, who he is. Again, he is an old school mind. He is an old school person, though. So again, going back to that, I do want to read a few of the comments that Jim posted here. Let's see what they say. Or I want to see what a few of his fans are saying, and then we'll go from there. But like this person, Aaron Rupar, says, thanks for the babyface promo, Jim. Zach says, it amazes me how excuse me. My throat is still bothering me a little bit. Let me take a sip of water. Oh, excuse me. It amazes me how adults can't accept the fact that other adults have different opinions. That's a good one. William LFC says, in a world of former wrestlers, be at Dave Batista. And then Paul says, and the shot at Batista, was that even necessary? Yeah, not necessary. I don't think the shot at Batista was anything bad. I think, it was a rib. These guys worked together in the ring for a long time. I don't think it was a shot in any way. Like if Batista wants to make more out of it, he can, obviously. Some guy posted, appreciate you, Jim. A voice of sanity in these trying times. I've always respected Mark and Glenn and their in-ring characters. The Undertaker and Kane have always been favorites in my family. Not sure what happened, but they both lost their marbles along the way. Freedom is... And this guy has a long post. Freedom is precious, and I will not sacrifice mine just so his rich friend can keep his. Again, everyone is entitled to their opinion. Some guy put, I've always been a Bret Hart guy. Bret Hart wouldn't have any stance on this because he's Canadian. So King of McFrost says, the signs were written all over the wall with Mark Calloway with his Blue Lives Matter shirts and his donations to the NRA. I'm not surprised at all. I lost a lot of respect for him and Glenn Jacobs. So stuff like this, right? Again, it's hard for me to read stuff like that just because, again, when people say, oh, I lost a lot of respect just because of their political stance and this and that, right? Like, I'm not going to lose respect over someone just because they believe in something else, right? Unless they do something to me that affects me in some way, I'm not going to fucking bash on them or anything like that. They're not doing anything to hurt me. Let's see. Let's go to the comment section real quick. We got someone trolling in the chat here. Amongst Gangsta says, most old school liberals are conservative. Liberalism isn't the same now. It's neoliberalism, which means new. Jim usually keeps the political talk for his full podcast videos. The clips don't carry politics like before because it can put your channel at risk. And I agree, it can put your channel at risk. Did you just chew your water? Sorry, man. I was choking on some phlegm, honestly, when I was like, when I had to take a sip of water, my throat is closing up. I need to take like a throat lozenge right now. The shot at Batista sounds like a wrestling promo, and it can be, right? I think, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? I mean, it's, they are wrestlers. They take shots at each other when stuff happens, just like in the ring, they can take shots at each other, but, you've seen these guys hang out outside of, what's been going on here. So I don't think there's any ill will towards, Batista and the Undertaker. And if there is, okay, maybe that'll lead to something else later on. I doubt it. Let's see, Bret Hart for president. Yeah, Bret Hart for president. He's the only sane one in this country, and he's not even from the U.S. Burger King tacos and chewy water, yum. Yeah, well, I don't even think Burger King sells their tacos anymore. So it looks like we got a few people joining in right now. So if you guys are just joining in, we are talking about Jim Cornette's reaction to the Undertaker, endorsing Donald Trump. So if you guys want to come in and chime in on it, you can. Just try to be as respectful as you can in the chat, just like amongst gangstas here, talking about BK tacos. But anyways, we can save this clip later on, etc. like that. We are reading some of the comments here that from Jim Cornette fans. Some guy put, the only time Jim and the AEW neckbeards agree on anything. Wow. It's so fucking disappointing. Can never look at those two the same way again. Some guy said, okay, groomer, trans your kids and take your 10th booster, Jimmy, and do it while paying double for gas and triple for groceries. You're a lib with TDS. You should be ashamed of yourself. So, obviously people that follow Jim Cornette, they disagree. They're disagreeing with what with what with what Jim Cornette believes in also, and that's okay, right? A lot of people, again, you're gonna vote one way or you're gonna vote the other. That's just that. I feel like that's just the flaw in the two-party system that the United States has now. And again, I won't get too much into it because, again, I mean, I don't really talk about politics. I never really do, and I try to stay unbiased as I can when it comes to it. You will never hear me talk about what I believe in, etc. like that. I think it's just too controversial, and I'm just not going to get into it. But I do like to see what other people discuss and talk about, and then I just like to give my 2 cents on it, right? Okay, let's see. James Lalino says to Jim Cornette, is all mad because they're all in the WWE Hall of Fame and he isn't. That could be the case. Who knows? I mean, Jim Cornette, I think, is overdue for a WWE Hall of Fame. I think he had a lot of involvement, in the in the mid 80s, early 90s, WWE production. And he should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if he had beef with McMahon over time, or it just wasn't a thing. 4 stops. Let's see how many miles here. I might stop here and pick up a Walmart delivery over here. Let's see what's going on. 74. Oh, never mind. It already went away. Okay. I have to go to work later, by the way, guys, but I just wanted to jump on and chit chat with you guys for a little bit. Thank God we have guys like Amongst Gangstas in the house to keep things at bay here. Some guy put, completely agreed. It's a shame, but I learned to expect less from those in media and entertainment over time. That's a good thing. Sophia says, I mean, they have known each other for a long time. Surely you could tell they would endorse Trump. Yeah. Come on. Give me a good order. Give me a good order. Nope, not a good order. Let's see. King Taurus, let's go Kamala Harris 2024 posted, ruined their reputation for a con man. I couldn't agree more with you. I'm so disappointed in both brothers of destruction. Wow. Some guy, Don Wayne, posted, bro, you got to get a grip. People differ on politics, and that is true. Speaking of one great humans who ruined their legacy for podcast money so they could pay their bills in their later years, it's Jim Cornette. Again, hey, I wouldn't rib on people that are just trying to make money, even post-retirement. I'm pretty sure, I wouldn't knock on anyone for podcasting and doing what they do to make money, especially when you have one of the most popular podcasts in the industry, right? I wouldn't really knock on Jim Cornette for that. This is a good one. Epic Op says, just accept the fact that people are different. Okay, that I think that's something that, again, everyone should accept, that people are different and everyone's going to have a different mindset, a different way of thinking, and we can't take that away from them. I'm not going to hate someone for voting conservative over someone that votes liberal, right? I'm just not. Someone just put grow up. Let's see, we got Buck Johnson says, you'll be okay. Not everyone has to agree with you. In fact, in a few weeks you'll see most don't. Joe, I'm a bigger fan now. Zion Darkwood says, Kane and Taker end their legacy with a whimper as they endorse someone who assaulted women and children and tried to overthrow the government and country. Trump doesn't care about the country or people who live here. They should be ashamed of themselves. So again, going back to that, right? That's this guy's opinion, right? Again, I can't really comment too much on that. He's gonna say what he's gonna say, though. Come on, Walmart, just send me a good order. Send me a good order over here. Got to make that money. We got to make that money. Okay, I'm definitely not doing a shop order. That's for sure. Let me get out of this. let me get out of this. When this channel is monetized and I'm banking lots of money, I will be doing streams every day. I'll be talking about wrestling news every day, guys. I'm just gonna jump on and talk to you all about whatever's happening. But I do want to give my buddy Tito a shout out. Let's go ahead and check. Well, now that we're talking about that, because it is getting a little bit later, and I really wasn't planning on streaming too long. Let me see if I can find it here. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Tap and twist. We'll stop sharing this one really quick. So again, we'll leave that to debate. And if you guys want to comment on the video, feel free to do so. We're still live streaming, so you can give and voice your opinion on that. And if you say something that's controversial, I'm just gonna say one thing. I'm gonna say I don't think you're right, but I'm also gonna say I don't think you're wrong either. So because again, everyone is entitled to their opinion. So except for amongst gangsters, that guy is just crazy. Him and that Mil Heyman guy, I don't know who the hell that guy is. All right, so let's check out the first short for the Tap and Twist podcast here. If I can freaking figure out how to share it, I always forget. There we go. All right, so, and I like the video here, by the way. He's already got 107 views. Let's go ahead and watch this real quick.
Yo, good morning, folks. So, quick question for you guys out there. But what happened to the Jay and Rhea angle? I mean, quite honestly, I was intrigued by it, and I thought it was going to be pretty cool. And it looked like it was about to happen, especially, Jay's been literally chasing Rhea. Finally having his opportunity since Dom betrayed Rhea. And so we kind of thought that this was going to happen. But then all of a sudden, it's like someone threw cold water on an open flame. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Yo, good morning, folks. So, quick question for you guys out there.
All right, sorry about that. I muted myself because I was hacking up some phlegms. But anyways, I want to go ahead and pause that there, and shout out to Tito first of all for Mil Heyman is God. Mil Heyman is God, yeah. I don't know about that. Anyways, so Tito is asking here, what happened with the Jey Uso and Rhea Ripley angle, right? The rear of Ripley has already an owner. Yeah. So that's a good question, right? Again, they had been kind of teasing it for a while, even prior to the Judgment Day breaking up. But we've seen a little bit of backstage stuff where Rhea will she'll kind of endorse Jay, and she's been saying like yeet and everything like that, and even in like interviews outside of the WWE, and obviously Jey Uso has been verbal that he likes mommy in the ring, right? Of course, obviously, ever since winning the Intercontinental Championship, there's been other things going on with him, right? He's obviously, with his feuds, whether it be with, the Steiner guy, I always forget his name, not Bronson Reed, Brock. I don't even know what the hell his name. I'm blanking out here. Remind me over here. His name I can't. I'm gonna say Rick Steiner's Rick Steiner's son, because I'm over here blanking out. Braun Breaker, there you go, Braun Breaker. I'm blanking out on his name, guys. Sorry, I have short-term memory loss. But anyway, so that happened. He won the Intercontinental Championship. Obviously, people are now gunning for his title, right? And not just that, but now we're starting to see a little bit of Bloodline involvement. Coming together, that's coming back to Jey Uso, with Jimmy and Roman Reigns trying to get his attention. And Coco, what are you doing? Get over here, mama. Anyway, sorry, my dog's like under my bed. I don't know why she's over there. But anyways, involvement, right, when it comes to the Bloodline saga and the continuing of it, right? Because now that Roman's back, now that Jimmy's back, there is going to be some sort of alignment now, that eventually Jay's going to have to choose, right? And obviously he didn't choose, solo side. He kind of walked away from that after this past Friday's SmackDown. And he even got in you know, Jacob Fatu's face, saying, "Bro, if you look at me like that again, I'm gonna punch you in the face." Right? So there is some sort of resentment to a degree of the people that he's bringing in, right? So Solo brought in obviously Tamatonga, Tongaloa, and I'm dropping my pen here. Tongaloa, and of course Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu probably being the most important of the three. And again, we can already see heat there between Jacob Fatu and Jey Uso. Not just Jacob Fatu, but Jacob Fatu and literally everyone, you know, from the older bloodline. So now the focus is going to be on there. I think that's where the Rhea and Jey Uso thing kind of fizzles out, at least right now, right? Maybe we might see something later on. Rhea and Damian Priest also kind of went their separate ways, right? I think, you know, that's something that they needed to do. You know, they've been kind of battling out with, you know, the new Judgment Day. I don't think that's going to be over, at least not yet. But until they revisit that, right, we're going to see Rhea doing her own thing. We're going to see Damian do his own thing. And obviously right now we're going to see Jey Uso do their own thing. So again, quick react to Tito on that. And, you know, I don't think that it's not going to come back to it. I think we're going to see it come back to it eventually. I don't know exactly when. It could be maybe during, you know, the Rumble, right? You know, I don't think this bloodline angle is going to settle anytime soon. So we might, that angle might not be revisited for a while, or at least until it's put on hiatus to some degree, right? Because we're still waiting for The Rock to come back. So, you know, once Survivor Series War Games comes along and we see that, then, you know, we see what happens with The Rock and whoever else. Yeah, how do I play this? How do I like this? How do I smash it? Mill Hustles, you better be liking the video, by the way. I better see a like button smashed on this video, by the way. But anyways, that's going to be my response to Tito. And again, I hope you guys like it. You know, again, this was just going to be a short video for you guys today to talk about, right? I'm going to try to do more little like 30-minute videos here of just what's happening on the news on this podcast. And, you know, the longer podcast will probably be saved for, you know, when Tito or Mill Hustles are available. And again, I want to give Tito a shout out. I want you guys all to subscribe to his channel. And we got Final Event in the house saying War Games, we are getting a bloodline battle. Yeah, that's going to be very important. And whatever happens at War Games is going to be very important, because I think we might see, you know, if we can't get Jey Uso or Sami Zayn to come in to help, you know, the current, you know, the original tribal chief or the original bloodline, then, you know, we might see again The Rock come in, right? The Rock, who came in at this last pay-per-view towards the end, he didn't really say anything, but he kind of, you know, gave the throat slash thing. And we don't really know who that was directed towards, right? Was it towards, you know, Solo's bloodline? Was it towards Roman's bloodline, right? Keep in mind, The Rock is just like Kevin Owens, is probably pissed off at Roman Reigns for teaming up with Cody Rhodes. And it's been made pretty clear that The Rock doesn't like Cody Rhodes. Obviously, we saw what happened earlier in the year when he gave Cody the beatdown, etc., like that. So there's still some unfinished business there, but there might be some sort of animosity now between The Rock and Roman Reigns. So what I think is going to happen, just before we, you know, finish the video here, and again, Final Event, thanks for, you know, jumping in and saying something here. You know, I'm not too familiar with you, so if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I don't have my camera turned on today because I've been a little sick and I've been under the weather, so I really don't want to show my face right now. But anyways, you can see my pretty picture there. But anyways, yeah, it's been a pretty interesting year so far. I think we're barely in the 4th inning of the Bloodline saga now. Let me go ahead and turn this off over here. And again, if you haven't already, guys, subscribe to Tito's Tap and Twist channel. He will be posting. This is mostly a shorts channel, but yeah, he's already got 11 subscribers. So shout out to him. And I like the Bret Hart little icon that he has there. It's funny because the podcast on my channel has Bret Hart Sting putting Bret Hart into the sharpshooter or the Scorpion Deathlock Scorpion Deathlock, so I think that's pretty interesting. Of course, man, I've been missing a lot of videos. Okay, yeah, man. Thanks. Again, I don't know if you're already subscribed to the channel, but if you are, stay subscribed. Again, we're getting close to 50 subs on it. So if you have any friends that like wrestling and watching wrestling, again, again, I'm not really new to the wrestling podcast world, but I am new as far as this channel goes. Oh, there we go. He says, I am well known with Tito. Okay, I got you. Well, then I'll see you on his live streams for sure. So again, if you're already subscribed to his channel, I hope you're subscribed to our channel as well over here. And again, if you're into wrestling, we love to hear from you. We would love to hear from you. And again, voice your opinions on the chat here. Definitely would like to read them out. Let's see. Let me go back to Amongst Gangsters here really quick. Despite the Bloodline thing getting stale. Oh shit! Hold on, let me look at my phone real quick. They're sending me deliveries and I'm not paying attention over here. Let me turn this back on because okay, so despite the Bloodline thing getting stale, it still gets views. I see it all ending at WrestleMania. Possibly. I mean, who knows how long this could drag, right? Because I feel like now that I feel like we're seeing like a more vulnerable side of Roman Reigns, right? We're seeing a Roman Reigns that we don't typically see. If you guys watched this past week's SmackDown, you already know, right? There's, obviously he's letting his ego, he's dropping his ego a little bit, right? As the tribal chief and being the head of the family, to work things out with his brothers, right? With Jimmy and even Jay. You guys saw a glimpse of it, right? In that backstage segment with Jimmy and Jay, where Jay, he comes and says hi to Jimmy. He walks past them. And then Roman, he just gives Roman a look, and then he tries to walk off, and Roman grabs his arm. He grabs his arm, and you felt that tension there. And I think it took a lot for him to say, "We're proud of you. Us as a family, we are proud of you." And he said, "I'm proud of you," right, as well. And then not even that, but the backstage segment where Jimmy was continuing to tell Roman, hey, we still need to try to get Jay back, right? And Roman is like, well, I tried, right? I don't think he fully tried. I think that was just opening a crack to a bigger door that we're gonna see over time, right? With Roman Reigns and seeing more humility from him, and that's what's making this face turn so important right now. I think with Roman Reigns. Because he still has that that dog in him that he wants to be like this big bad guy, right? The guy that was the head of the table. But now we're again starting to see him crack a little bit, and then again him going to the ring that night and telling Jimmy, I'm gonna acknowledge Solo, and he's like, and then when Solo's talking to him, Roman is asking him, how can I fix this, right? How can we get past this as a family, right? Because he in some way still wants Solo to be a part of his family, right? I don't really think there's been a lot of acknowledgement on the guys that Solo has brought in, like Jacob and Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, right? There really hasn't been a lot of backstory there, and that's something that I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm hoping that we're finally gonna start to get a story on why Solo decided to bring all of these guys in, opposed to maybe wanting to get out of the original bloodline, right? And again, we're starting to see those cracks from Roman Reigns, and I think that's important. I think that's important to move along in the story. But you saw it, and again, you're still seeing a lot of those facial mannerisms that Roman Reigns gives, but you're also seeing again his face kind of starting to sadden up a little bit, right? Because he knows that he doesn't have the control that he used to have, and I think that's hurting him a little bit. So let me know what you guys think, though. Let me go ahead and read some of these comments here. Amongst Yans, that says he wears shorts on his channel. Yeah, he wears shorts on his channel. Hey, man, I want to elevate Tito's channels as much as I can, especially when it comes to wrestling. And I hope he does the same for this channel. Obviously, he's been supporting the channel. He talks about it on his his main channel, IRL Tito, and of course, I'm hoping we see more endorsement here from his channel on this end as well. But I'm gonna endorse all of his videos, and like I said, I told him I'm gonna try to react to a lot of the videos that he has here. And again, I hope that he takes some of the videos here and he makes snippets of them, and he makes reactions as well to these videos as well, because I want to bounce back off Tito as much as I can. So shout out to him first of all. Let's see. Final Event says, it's been a while since I watched wrestling, but the last 3 years I have been coming back to it. Okay. So again, Final Event, I guess, before I get off here, because I'm going to try to jump off before 1 o'clock my time. It's 12:49 Central Time. I live in the Central Time Zone in the U.S. What is your favorite thing about wrestling so far? What are your favorite angles that are happening? And I guess, I'm just going to ask you, who's your favorite wrestler currently on TV, right? And it could be WWE, it could be AEW, right? Again, some people fall out of wrestling. That happened to me for a couple of years. Especially, I would say I fell out of wrestling probably between like 2005 and 2011. Maybe all the way up until 2013, 2014. That's when I really started watching wrestling again. Endorse, is her running for president? If so, he has my vote. Okay, I don't know if you meant he or her. But look at this, we got 6 people in the chat again. Give me some engagement, guys. Give us some chats here. Please post your opinion. Again, originally we're currently talking about the current Bloodline saga, but we are the title of this video is Jim Cornette response to the Undertaker endorsing Donald Trump. Again, I don't like to get too political in any of my videos, whether it be this channel or my other channels, but I think this is something that can obviously spread out to something even more. This might be something that we might see more of during voting season. Obviously, I think we're just a couple weeks away from already the elections, and I think early voting has already started. So again, I don't care which party you're affiliated with or who you vote for, but I care how this affects the wrestling industry in some ways, and how this makes retired wrestlers look, right? Especially guys like Glenn Jacobs and the Undertaker, aka Mark Calloway. Let's see. Final Event says, I stopped watching right after Brock left, and also Kurt when he left. Okay. That's kind of been a while. Brock's been back though. I mean, I don't know. So Brock has been gone for about a year already, actually. I think his last match was last year, before all of the Vince McMahon scandal stuff started happening. But I think his last match was last year against Cody at SummerSlam. I think that was pretty much the last time he had any type of feud in WWE. So, again, Brock Lesnar right now, they are not using him. I think they can bring him back, but they are not using him because of the whole, I think they're kind of keeping him away because of the Vince McMahon scandal currently, which I think is a good idea, just because, again, they don't know what's going to happen with that, if they're going to settle out of court or if they're going to, continue on with this. Which obviously, they did mention a former UFC champion was involved to some degree. And obviously him being very close to Vince, that doesn't make him look good in any light. Amongst gangsters, we got amongst gangsters in the house. Let's see. Final Event says, when he left to the UFC a long time ago, but yeah, I am happy the way things are going at the moment with the whole WWE. Okay. All right. Well, hey, shout out to you, man. Again, thanks again for supporting this channel. I really appreciate it. And again, if there's any angles you want me to, talk about before we get off, I'll give it about another 7 minutes before I jump off here, because I need to rest my voice, because I do have to work at my regular job in a couple of hours. So I do want to rest up a little bit and, eat lunch before I go to work. But again, always interesting to talk to and discuss, fans. That's why I'm using YouTube and Restream as a platform, just because, I can showcase your comments here on the chat. And again, we are over here endorsing the Twist and Tap podcast. I'll go ahead and exit out there. Well, I'll leave that on there. But Tito's already posted a couple of videos there, so shout out to him. Let's go ahead and get rid of that real quick. And I guess while you're here, if you're still here, Final Event, what are your thoughts on Jim Cornette, kind of bashing The Undertaker and kind of not slandering him, but, trying to make him look less credible for what he's done in the last, 35, 40 years being in the industry and who he is as a person, right? For endorsing Trump, right? Again, I don't think that's necessarily the right thing to do. As someone that is being followed by so many people, there's such a thing as disagreeing with someone about something, but then basically going and saying, hey, this person just ruined their reputation because they're supporting this person, right? Again, I'm not gonna get into who I support, but the fact is, I'm not gonna bash you for endorsing whoever you want to endorse. I think that's not the right thing to do. I think, as a country, we should be united and try to come together on our differences. And, whether you vote one way or the other, I'm not gonna bash you for voting that way. Yeah, I'm just never been that type of person. So, and I don't know if Amongst Gangstas is still here. Final Event says, I just saw the news on this last night around 11 p.m. about Undertaker. And yeah, I would say, I'm pretty sure a lot of media outlets are covering that to some degree. Maybe we might not hear about it over the weekend. Obviously, you're going to see stuff about it on Twitter. And again, it's a very subjective or objective subject, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, that's not going to affect me being a fan of The Undertaker as an entertainer in WWE, right? That's like me saying like, oh, I hate Dave Bautista now because he's, supporting Kamala Harris and discrediting his body of work that he did over the years in WWE. And I really enjoyed Bautista and The Undertaker, growing up. Obviously I was already in my late teens, early 20s when Bautista was on the rise, and watching The Undertaker as a kid in the Boiler Room matches and the Hell in a Cell matches, I always felt some sort of aura with him, watching him as a kid. But never as a kid did I ever think to myself, man, I'm gonna hate that guy 20 years later because of who he endorses in the presidency. You know what I mean? I don't really think there's anything wrong with people voicing their opinions or vocaling who they endorse, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. Final Event says, I think people need to put aside the feelings for a person and understand why he is doing it. He is still a good person and has a big heart as a human. Picking Trump should not change. I agree. Again, I agree on that. And again, whether what his political stance is, it is what it is. I'm not going to hate him for who he is. And I'm not going to discredit all of the work he did over the years, over something stupid as, him making a video with, another Hall of Famer and endorsing a specific party, because, that one person, he represents the entire party. He just doesn't represent, one person. But anyways, guys, I think I am going to jump off now. My throat is kind of starting to hurt. It is killing me. I didn't think I was going to go this long. I thought I was only going to go 30 minutes, but I want to give my buddies over here a shout out. Amongst Gangstas, shout out to you, first of all, for being here. I think he already took off. He might be at work. And of course, Final Event, thanks again for joining in. Thanks again for checking out the Deathlock podcast. Today's short video. And of course, check out Tito's Twist and Tap YouTube channel as well if you already